Okay, I'm here at Scotiabank Theatre to see Cannibal. Here's the theater. Right there, across the street. And you know why I like this theater? Because there's a Chapters right beside it. Great bookstore. So there you go. Here is a little bit of downtown Toronto for you. I'll show you the escalator of doom in a second.
In 2011, we had the honor of presenting here half of Oscar, which is Manuel Martin Cuenca's previous film. And now it is a pleasure for us having him in Toronto again, so please welcome Manuel to the stage.
Thank you for coming. I would like to say you seriously that this film is not a self-biography. And that the actors of the film, Antonio de la Torre and Olimipia Melinte, they are really great, and I want to grateful them all their work. So, Antonio de la Torre, our cannibal. And Olimipia Melinte from Romania. Nice. Thank you.
Well, I just want to say enjoy the movie, and we'll talk after. We'll be waiting for some questions, if there will be any questions.
What?
Yeah, so we will be back for the Q&A. Thank you.
Hi guys. Okay, this is my review of Cannibal, which I just saw this afternoon, and wow, this was an incredible film. It was a Spanish movie. The director's name is Manuel Martin Cuenca. Please forgive me if I'm butchering that, which I probably am. The main actor who played the cannibal, also known as Carlos, was Antonio de la Torre, and let me tell you, this guy knew how to wear a suit. Wow, extremely debonair, suave guy. And the other main actress was Olimipia Melinte, and she played two roles. She played two sisters, Alexandra and Nina. Nina was the one who was in the bulk of the film, who was in the most of the film. Okay. How do I friggin' describe this film? I've been trying to figure this out. All I can say is, this was one of the most unique, different, engrossing, riveting, just spellbinding films I've seen in a really long time. It was a character study about this guy, Carlos, the cannibal, who lives a seemingly normal life, bland life, boring life, lonely life, as a tailor in this small village in Spain. I think it's Granada? Is that small? I don't know if that's would be classified. Isn't it Granada a city? Anyway, forgive me. He lives in this, look like a village, and he works in this tailor shop. This guy's like a master tailor, and boy, oh boy. Okay. Very, very handsome, very, very debonair, very suave. He's got a beard, he's got a mustache, perfectly trimmed, of course, perfectly groomed. The guy's always wearing a suit and tie. He's got, impeccably dressed all the time. He just looks fantastic. Very, very handsome guy. And you, of course, never suspect that he is a serial-killing, cannibalistic, psycho-fucking freak. Okay, so the movie starts. Okay, the very first scene in the movie is like a shot from far away. You're watching from a distance these two people at a gas station filling up their car with gas, a man and a woman. And it's like a still shot, no movement. You're just sitting there for about 3 or 4 minutes just watching these people from a distance fill up their car with gas, go and pay for the gas, get back in their car and leave. And when they're leaving, they're coming towards they're coming towards you, the camera. And then the sort of point of view shifts, and you're in another car, and it's following these people down this lonely, dark road in the middle of nowhere. So anyway, this guy First he drives up alongside them, you know, he's kind of menacing them a little bit, and then he just, you know, barrels off ahead, and I guess the guy in the car thinks, okay, this freak is gone or whatever, but then he comes back, runs them off the road, and the car ends up flipping over a few times, falling in this ditch, and, you know, it's turned over upside down. So the guy in the Jeep backs up, gets out of the car, goes down, and opens the door and pulls this woman out of the car, drags her up this incline, and drags her back towards his truck, and there's leaving like this trail of blood on the ground. She's obviously very badly injured. So he puts her in his truck, drives off with her. Next thing you see, he's driving in this, it's daylight, and he's driving into these beautiful, incredibly beautiful mountains. And I mean like mountains, like snowy peaked mountains. Like right, like you're in the Pyrenees or something. So he's driving up to this like little lonely isolated cabin, and then you see him, next thing you know, he's laying around on this table, and he's taking her clothes off, he gets her nude, and she's like either unconscious or dead already. I don't know if she's already dead or she was just unconscious. But anyway, he's got all these like cleavers on the wall, knives, axes, you name it. And then you just hear like the axe come down. You don't see anything. That's one thing about this movie, is there was no gore. There was no like explicit, sensationalistic, gross, really like, you know, like just, you know, gore fest of this guy, you know, butchering this woman. You just hear it. And then next thing you know, he's going into his apartment. He's got like this big duffel bag, and there's like all this fucking meat wrapped up in packages. He puts it in his fridge, and you see him sitting at his table a couple of times, you know, just like he's eating a grilled steak. He's eating this woman's flesh. This is what this guy does. So, okay, so into the mix comes this very attractive young woman who lives in his apartment building. It's raining one night. He's coming into his building, and she's coming in at the same time, and she's got an umbrella. She's like, no, wait, don't close the door. So she comes in, and he helps her up to her apartment with some packages, and she's like, oh, thank you very much, smiles at him, and that's it. And, you know, he watches her from his window, from his tailor shop, from his apartment. They kind of exchange glances, you know, a few times. And then finally she comes over to his shop and says, listen, I'm trying to get a massage business started. Would you mind, you know, giving out my flyers to some of your customers? And by the way, if you ever want a massage, just let me know. I'm your upstairs neighbor anytime you want, right? So obviously she's interested in him. He's obviously interested in her. But for some reason, this guy will not make any sexual advances or anything. He's just very standoffish, even though this woman's like coming on to him all the time. And she's also very like tempestuous. Like he hears her arguing on the phone, having fights with people, throwing shit. Like she's really kind of, you get the feeling she's really kind of erratic, right? And so she comes down to his apartment one night and says, listen, I need you to come to the police with me and report this fight. Just say you were a witness and all this. And he's like, I don't want to get involved, you know, and all this. And she's like, oh, please, you know, help me. And he's like, no, you know, I don't want to get involved. So she's like, okay, whatever. Can I have a glass of water? He gives her a glass of water. And she's about to leave. And then he's like, wait, I'll come with you to the police station. So they get in his, you know, truck. And that's the last you see of her. Next thing you know, her sister shows up, which is the same actress. The original one was like blonde, and this girl was brunette. And she's like really the more of the main character in the movie. And she's much more like mellow, sweet, nice, very like, you know, very cute and kind and nice. And you can tell he really likes her. And, you know, she's like, oh, you know, have you seen my sister? I haven't seen her for a couple of days. I'm trying to locate her. I'm trying to find her. We had a fight. I haven't seen her since then. Do you know where she is? He's like, no, I don't know anything. And so they kind of develop this friendship that grows and all this stuff. And she becomes more and more attracted to him. And so he ends up giving her some money that her parents need for this apartment. And she's like, you know, why are you giving me money? And he's like, I want to help you. And she's like, well, you know, what are you going to get out of it? And he's like, nothing. I just want to help you. And she's like, everybody wants something. And he's like, not me. And so I guess she's intrigued by this and really touched by it, that he was kind enough to give her this money. So she really likes him. And she wants to develop something with him. But every time, again, like she sort of comes on to him or makes an advance, he's like very, you know, like she asks him out to dinner. He's like, no, you know, I'd rather not, and all this stuff. And she's like, why not? And he's like, I prefer not to. And so he's really kind of playing it cool with her, and you know, you can tell she's like perplexed, like what's going on here. But anyway, so finally he ends up asking her to go to the mountains with him to this cabin that he has. And she's like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. So they go up to this mountain cabin, and they go for walks in the mountains in the snow, and it's very idyllic, very beautiful. They have a great time together. You know, there's a fire in the cabin. It's very romantic, very cozy. You know, you can tell she's really liking it. No sex or anything, but you know, they're together. They're spending time together in this cabin. So the second day they go out for another walk again. They come back to the cabin, there's a fire, and she's kind of like looking at him adoringly, like, oh my god, I'm so in love with this guy. And all of a sudden he looks at her and he says, I killed your sister. And she's just like, you know, huh? She doesn't say anything, she's just like obviously in shock. And he's like, and she's not the only one, I've done it to others. I kill them and I eat them. And she's like, you know, here she is in the middle of the Alps, or the middle of the, you know, mountains with nobody else around. He's got the car. Where the hell is she gonna go? What's she gonna do? And she's like, what are you telling me this for? And he's like, well, because it's the truth. And she's like, well, you know, are you gonna kill me? And he's like, no, I was gonna kill you last night, but I couldn't do it. And so she's just like, you know, freaking out, obviously, inside. And you know, just summarizing this movie, telling you the plot, is nowhere near like the effect this movie would have if you sat and watched it. This movie was done so well, like, I guess, I don't know, just kind of being like voyeuristic and watching these people, watching this guy, this killer, just go about this seemingly normal life, getting involved with this poor woman. And she has no clue. She thinks he's this sweet, like, loving guy who gives her this money for her parents, that he's just got some problems with women, and he has got an intimacy problem. Like, she has no clue this guy's a psycho freak. And, you know, you're thinking, oh my god, like, in this position this woman was in this cabin with him, you're like, oh, what would you do if you were in that situation? Like, anyway, he ends up saying, listen, we have to go back to town. You have to go to the police. I don't know why he said that. If he meant that she should report him or whatever. But he goes, you know, we have to leave. We have to go. And so they end up getting in the car. And she's like sitting there all freaked out. She's like all numb and, you know, everything. All of a sudden she just like grabs the wheel of the car, and they go off the side of this mountain. And the car flips over a few times, and I don't know, I guess a few minutes later, he crawls out or whatever, and she's lying there on the mountain, and she's dead. And he's like crying. He's like, oh, Nina, my love, and all this stuff. And he's like, you know, he's weeping, he's in tears. And then the last scene of the movie, spoiler alert if this comes out, not that it's like a major thing or anything, but he's standing in the window of his tailor shop, and there's this beautiful procession going on. Like, there's a beautiful church in this village that they live in, and they're bringing out, like, you know how they have an Easter Sunday, they have like those processions where they'll bring out like a crucifix with, you know, Jesus on it, or like a sort of a shrine that people carry on their shoulders, and they'll like carry it through the town. There's like this beautiful, like, you know, procession going by with candles and everything, and he's standing in the window just like looking at it and crying. And you know, I don't know. What do you say to that? I mean, nothing really happens. Like, this guy doesn't get caught. You know, it's this guy. You get the feeling this guy will just go on and on doing this forever, and it was just so fascinating, like, watching this. And the scenes of him in this tailor shop, like how meticulous he is measuring out this cloth and cutting it. And it reminded me of that movie The Silence of the Lambs, where the guy was making the flesh suit out of the women that he killed, because he was a tailor as well, or sewer, and he was like making a suit. And it reminded me of that a bit. And but there was one incredible scene in this movie that I have to mention. I'm sorry if you guys are going to see this, another spoiler, but this was like the coolest fucking scene. He's like he's going through all this like angst because he can't be intimate with this woman. So I guess he kills to like relieve these like feelings that he has. So he ends up going to this like beachside town, and he's watching this couple. There's like a young man and a young woman, and they're sitting there drinking or whatever. And then I guess he follows them to like another beach at sunset, like a really like deserted area of the beach, and they're making out and stuff. And then she strips down and, you know, runs into the water naked, and of course the guy strips down and he runs after her nude, and so they're skinny dipping in this water. And so the guy gets into their car and he starts driving away with it, and so the guy in the water sees this and he's like freaking out, saying, holy shit, somebody's stealing my car. So he runs out of the water even though he's got no clothes on, and he's running after the guy, and then he just like revs up the car and like just rams into the guy, just kills him, just runs him over. And so the woman who's in the water is like seeing all this, and she's like freaking out and screaming like, oh my god. And so he just comes down to the beach, grabs her clothes, and he's standing there just standing there watching her, and she's in the water like screaming, like obviously she's not going to come out because she knows the guy is like just killed her boyfriend. What the hell is she going to do? So she's trapped in this water, right? And this goes on for hours. And then, because when the scene first started it was like sunset, there was still a little bit of light, but then later on it's like pitch black. So you know the guy's been just like standing there for hours just like watching to see what she's going to do. And you know, she's still freaking out. She's like going, what the fuck do you want, and all this stuff, like get the fuck out of here, you nut all this stuff. And then I guess eventually she ends up drowning, and that's what. But that was like, fuck, that was such a fucking awesome scene. This movie was just so well done, so tasteful, like I said, not sensationalistic, not doing anything for shock value, just a movie about this guy who's this fucking serial killing cannibal. It sounds sensationalistic, but the movie was so low key and so restrained and so quiet. Like, it was just really, really, really well done. So I really enjoyed this movie. It was friggin' awesome. 2 major thumbs up. I hope you guys get a chance to see it, because it was really, really good. Awesome movie. Okay, I'm going to see 2 movies tomorrow. One of them is Midnight Madness, called The Station, a German movie. And it's about, sounds kind of like The Thing. A bunch of these scientists in the Arctic are like doing experiments or whatever. They're in this lab up there. And then all this bio stuff starts happening, like creatures develop and come after them and stuff. So anyway, that sounds pretty good. And then the movie after that I'm really, really looking forward to is called The Sacrament. That's Ty West, American director, and it's about a religious cult. Sounds like one of these like Jonestown cults. So it sounds really, really good. I'm so looking forward to that one. I've got a lot of expectations for it, so I hope it meets them. It sounds like it will. It sounds like a really good plot. So that's it for now. Oh, just a note. The footage that I put at the beginning of this video, of the intro, I apologize for the horrible, horrendous quality. I guess I must have forgot to hit the focus or something like that because it's so blurry. But I left it in there because it was really kind of a cute and funny intro. So I thought you guys might enjoy the audio, if not the video. Again, I apologize. I will try to make sure that doesn't happen again. I don't know what was going on with my camera there. I don't know if it was like not focused or whatever. But hope you enjoyed it. I will continue filming all that screening stuff because it's really, really cool to see that. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this review. Please subscribe if you want to see more, because there's a lot more to come. And I'll be back tomorrow with more TIFF 2013. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.